Hello everyone, Jonathan Schlack, EAS Weather here with the severe weather update for the Day 2 outlook. We have a slight risk for severe weather tomorrow that covers southeastern South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, the far northwestern corner of Missouri, and north central Kansas. And we have a very broad margin risk area for tomorrow that covers the eastern halves of North Dakota and South Dakota, central Nebraska, much of Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, northwestern Texas, all of Minnesota, the eastern half of Iowa, northern Missouri, most of Wisconsin, the very far extreme west central part of the upper peninsula of Michigan, most of Illinois, southern Michigan, all of Indiana, most of Ohio, western Pennsylvania, the western part of the Maryland Panhandle, most of West Virginia, the very far southwestern part of Virginia, most of Kentucky, and the northeastern half of Tennessee. Going to a tornado threat for tomorrow, we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado tomorrow that covers the far southeastern corner of North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, the very far extreme northeastern tip of Kansas, most of Minnesota, all of Iowa, far northwestern and far northeastern Missouri, west central and southwestern Wisconsin, and northwestern and central Illinois. Now going to the wind threat for tomorrow, with a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher tomorrow that covers southeastern South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, the far northwestern part of Missouri, and north central Kansas. We have a broad area where we have a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher tomorrow that covers the eastern halves of North Dakota and South Dakota, central Nebraska, much of Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, northwestern Texas, most of Minnesota, the eastern half of Iowa, northern Missouri, the very far west central part of the upper peninsula of Michigan, most of Wisconsin, most of Illinois, southern Michigan, all of Indiana, most of Ohio, western Pennsylvania, the western part of the Panhandle of Maryland, much of West Virginia, far southwestern Virginia, most of Kentucky, and the northeastern half of Tennessee. Going to the hail threat for tomorrow, we have a 15% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger tomorrow that covers southeastern South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and the far northwestern corner of Missouri. We have a 5% chance of 5% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger tomorrow that covers the eastern halves of North Dakota and South Dakota, central Nebraska, most of Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, northwestern Texas, most of Minnesota, the eastern half of Iowa, northern Missouri, the western half of Wisconsin, and much of Illinois for tomorrow. So going to the summary for tomorrow, scattered strong to severe storms are possible from the plains to the southern Great Lakes and the Appalachians to portions of New England. So that's all I got for today. Stay safe in the affected areas both today and tomorrow, and I will have another update tomorrow. Take care.